Anupam Kher, engineer Rashid, an independent MLA, Ashok Pandit, social activist, filmmaker, Nalin Kohli of the BJP. And my first question is to Rashmi Kant. Mr. Kant, how is Jagmohan responsible for the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits from the valley? How is Jagmohan responsible for it?
Mr. Goswami, I'm answering your question. And I think you'll have to give me a little bit of time because after Mr. Mufti Muhammad Saeed's daughter was kidnapped in Kashmir, after he took over as the Home Minister, I was probably one of the first few people to have gone to Kashmir and seen things firsthand. And Mr. Jagmohan was appointed in a panic situation by the then VP Singh government. It was not the Congress government. Mr. Rajiv Gandhi advised Mr. Farooq Abdullah not to resign. He did not listen to it, but he chose to resign because he thought Mr. Jagmohan was against him. Now, I think Mr. Digvijaya Singh I'm in partial agreement with him, where there was an atmosphere suddenly created there. I'm talking only about Srinagar city, and if you went to Srinagar city in that time, this is 2 or 3 days after the kidnapping of Mufti Muhammad Saeed's daughter, that Srinagar city was like a morgue. You could not see anybody there. But the moment you took a camera out, you would suddenly see people from Duktaran-e-Millat and other militant organizations who would come and say, "Hame kya chahiye azadi, hame kya chahiye azadi."
Come to the point, sir. You've made a very long introduction, sir. We're wasting time. We're wasting time now. Was Jagmohan responsible? Okay. Now, you're not coming to the point. My question to you, Mr. Kant, I can give you time, but not if you meander. My question is very specific. Answer the question. No, 1 second. As far as I am aware, Anupam Kher, on the 4th of January 1990, let's open up the debate so that it's not a one-way traffic only. So, 4th of January 1990,
can I answer your question?
There was a Hizbul Mujahideen put out a press release, published in a Kashmiri newspaper, demanding that all Kashmiri Pandits leave the Kashmir Valley immediately. Now, I think it was therefore the Hizbul Mujahideen, no, 1 second, not Jagmohan, who was telling the Kashmiri Pandits to get out of the valley. And I think it is an act of cowardice for a political leader not to have the guts to talk about the Hizbul Mujahideen, but to lay the blame on the floor of Jagmohan, who's the governor and therefore the Indian state. I mean, to protect terrorists, you will go ahead and attack your own government. Anupam Kher and Nalin Kohli, the debate is now open to either of you who wants to come into the debate. No, 1 second, please. I'll focus the debate. I know the historical perspective as well as you do, Mr. Kant. Anupam Kher, Nalin Kohli, which one of you wants to go first? Nalin Kohli, please.
Well, I will start here. So, Mr. Kher, if you'll permit me. My point is I'm a little worried because I'm seeing a pattern. You showed Mr. Manishankar Ayyar's statement. You've seen Mr. Digvijaya Singh consider Osama bin Laden worthy of calling him Osama G. And he's the perceived guru, the political guru of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And today he goes ahead and comes up with this statement, which is not only rubbing, not even salt, it's rubbing chilies actually into the wounds of the Kashmiri Pandits.
Yeah.
And then he's coming up with a historical non-fact. He's coming up with a perfect lie. And Mr. Rashmi Kant is sitting here with a long meandering answer about his role. I don't know how it was answering the question. And where does this leave it? I'm a little concerned that this is the Congress party which was ruling India for 10 years, ruled Kashmir during that period, Jammu and Kashmir for 6 years, did nothing to reverse the situation, and is sitting here and finally putting the blame on Mr. Jagmohan and absolving the terrorists. Where are we heading? Where is this party and its ideology going?
What's going on, Mr. Kant? What's going on, Mr. Kant? This is really a self-goal of monstrous proportions. Either you don't know the history of Kashmir, Mr. Kant, or you're pretending not to know.
Mr. Goswami, I think I do know a bit of history, and you might call it meandering, and Mr. Nalin Kohli might call it meandering, but I was just giving a context for some of the viewers. I certainly know that you would know the history, but some of the viewers. But coming back to your point, to answer it clearly, you referred to an advertisement, to a press release taken out by the Hizbul Mujahideen. The atmosphere there was that on the one side, the administration was clearly sending out a signal, which was sort of a silent signal that many.
Why are you defending the jihadis? Why are you defending
I
the
am not
jihadis?
defending the jihadis. I am opposed to the jihadis totally. I have got shot.
Why are
by
you
the
defending
jihadis.
the jihadis?
This is political bankruptcy.
Mr. Goswami, I have been shot at by the jihadis. So please do not tell me about patriotism. I have fought the militants. I have gone all over the world talking against the militants.
We are pained, we are killed, we are raped, we have gone through an exodus. The entire community is thrown out, and you are playing with our lives.
I am not defending. I am not. You are. I am sorry, Mr. Ashok Pandit. You are misrepresenting what I. You have heard me. You have heard me talk. You and me have talked several times over various televisions, and you know my views about the militants. You know my view about the militants. I have
know what happened in the mosque on 19th of January?
Yes,
do you know how Lastal was killed?
Yes,
do you know how Neel Kanju was killed? Do you know how Sardar Bhatt was killed?
I am not talking about any. I am not talking about any individual. I am talking about the state of the Kashmiri Pandits, and I do believe that Kashmiri Pandits should be brought. And I think
I don't care about what you believe in, Mr. Kant. I don't care what you believe in, Mr. Kant. Mr. Kant, my question is this: if you have blundered, if your party colleague has blundered,
my answer,
no, Mr. Kant. No, Mr. Kant, please.
I don't think he has blundered.
Rashmi Kant. Mr. Rashmi Kant,
I am saying
the issue is more fundamental than you think.
That
you see, it has become fashionable now. Ashok Pandit, a minute. Ashok Pandit, hold back.
Equally or even more responsible.
Mr. Kant, now I'll get Anupam Kher into the debate as well. And Engineer Rashid, a minute, please. 1 second.
Yes.
You see, it has become fashionable now.
Rajiv Gandhi is responsible.
Mr. Ashok Pandit, a minute, please. It has become fashionable now, Mr. Kant, to make all kinds of comments which, I'm sorry, amount to supporting the Pakistani position and then try and get away with it. My question is, was Jagmohan responsible?
Not.
When you say Jagmohan, you are saying the Indian state. When you say Jagmohan, you are saying the Indian state.
No,
in other words, you are saying that the Indian state conspired to get Kashmiri Pandits out of Kashmir. You know what Benazir Bhutto was doing.
I think that this is a total misrepresentation of what I said.
Mr. Kant,
I said it was a very complex situation there. It was the militants there. It was Pakistani sponsored terrorism and words spread by the administration, all put together, which put fear in the minds not just of Kashmiri Pandits but several Muslims who migrated. I have called it ethnic cleansing. So please do not accuse me of trying to duck the question.
Then apologize on behalf of the Congress party tonight on the Newshour for the comments of Digvijaya Singh.
I will not apologize on behalf of Mr. Digvijaya Singh. Mr. Digvijay Singh has said something which has partial truth in it, but there is no doubt about the fact that it was
you hold your position. Anupam Kher, I thought, no, 1 second, now I'll only get Anupam Kher on the screen. Ashok Pandit, let him come in. I think this is now, you know, an unacceptable comment. You actually say Digvijay Singh, what he says is partial truth. My only counter question would be, Anupam Kher can counter you actually, was Jagmohan responsible for the terrorists marching on the streets of Srinagar with their Kalashnikovs after having issued warnings to Kashmiri Pandits to leave the valley? You know what happened to Baldev Raj Datta, an operator in Lal Chowk, when his body was found after being kidnapped. There were telltale marks of the most brutal and inhuman torture that was happening. The Congress party has to ask itself tonight, was Jagmohan responsible for the killings that began on January 15, 1990, 4 days before he took over as governor? And what kind of logic has the Congress party now adopted, where it will blame even an Indian state but not blame terrorists?
He was not responsible.
Anupam Kher, please, responding to this.
I am blaming the terrorists. I am blaming the terrorists. I am blaming.
What do you mean?
Arnab,
Anupam Kher. Anupam Kher responding to Mr. Rashmi Kant of the Congress.
I am horrified, Arnab. I thought the representative of Congress will come on Times Now and sort of will say sorry on behalf of an idiotic statement made by Mr. Digvijay Singh. But I'm horrified to understand that an Indian talking about Indians and taking the side of jihadis and taking the side of terrorists. This is the kind of
bankruptcy of emotional
loyalty that we are
What
dealing
are
with.
you talking?
And he said,
I'm not able to understand what I said.
Speech. He began his speech by saying, "I partially agree with Digvijaya Singh." Which idiotic statement partially agrees
Yes,
with?
I do.
Is he trying to tell that all the blood, the rape, the murder was fabricated, that it did not happen? Does he want to say
Absolutely not.
that 3
The
to 4
dates that
lakhs of
Mr.
Kashmiri
Arnab
Pandits are
Goswami
out of their
talked, the
own
dates
house
that Mr.
and
Arnab
behaving like a
Goswami
refugee
referred to
and are being
were prior to
refugee?
Mr. Jagmohan taking, so he cannot be held
usually
responsible
don't
for
get
it.
angry about
But the
somebody's
migrations took
statements
place
like this.
after
But I
those
think
rallies.
Is he completely cuckoo? What is he trying to talk?
Mr. Anupam Kher,
Sorry, don't expect any kind of civility from me on this issue.
No, I don't expect stability.
You should be
from you on
shocked
any issue.
at the fellow
Forget this
Indians
issue.
Mr. Rashmi Kant,
who...
Mr.
I am sorry, I don't want to be politically correct. I am not any political person. Unfortunately, you have to please your people. Unfortunately, you have to please your political
I do not have to
pundits
please
or your
the people.
political
I will
leaders.
only stick
I don't
to the
have to
truth
please. I
as
can
I
only
believe the
tell
truth to be.
you that what you are saying is ridiculous and what you are saying is horrifying and what you are saying is really, really so obscene
That
in
can
terms
certainly
of
be your
about
perspective
that
and my
Mr.
perspective.
Jagmohan,
And we are in a
was
democracy. We are entitled to our
Your
individual
No, we are-
perspectives.
can be your
You cannot.
perspective
I
is
cannot
a
deny
perspective.
Don't
your
abuse
perspective.
democracy,
Madman.
sir. Don't
I'm
abuse
sorry.
democracy. Don't abuse democracy. When a lie is uttered, it must be exposed. Even Rashid engineer will agree. 1 second. Even Rashid engineer will agree today.
What?
Was 1 second. Was Jagmohan responsible for the cold-blooded murder of all the prominent Kashmiri Pandits? Was Jagmohan responsible for the cold-blooded murder of Pandit Tikalal Taplu? Justice Neelkant Ganju,
No, if you
of the famous poet
If you will allow me
Sarvanand
to
Kaul
respond,
Premi
sir.
and his son
No, he was
Advocate
not.
Premnath Bhatt,
No,
or
he was
Lasa
not.
Kaul, the director of the Doordarshan Center? Is there a single
If you
word
will-
of condemnation in
No,
Digvijaya
if-
Singh's statement of Yasin Malik? Yasin Malik referred to the killers of Kashmiri
fact-
Pandits. Yasin Malik referred to the killers of Kashmiri Pandits as our boys. But does Digvijaya Singh have the guts to
Mr.
speak
Arnab
about Yasin
Goswami,
Malik?
but
No.
your question right from the beginning was Jagmohan the only person? Jagmohan
Not
was
only
the
person. I'm saying was
that is what I'm
Jagmohan
saying.
responsible for the killings or the terrorists?
No, he did
You
not
allow
say
me
I'm
to
sorry.
respond now.
Yes, Mr. Engineer.
No,
Mr. Engineer.
You talked about the migration.
Yeah, please allow me to
You
respond.
talked about
Allow
the
me, it is
migration
not
of
my
the
turn. I
Pandits
have
from the
got to
valley.
Mr. Engineer.
everybody.
Mr. Engineer, please. Yes.
Yeah. First, let me make it clear that we are all humans and let us not politicize or criminalize a human tragedy, whether it's a Hindu or a Muslim. Everybody has suffered, so have Kashmiri Hindus. And we, the Kashmiris, have been saying it from day one that it was the Jagmohan.
Again, a
It was the
condescending
Jagmohan
tone.
regime. Will you keep
Again, a
quiet for a
rubbish
while,
tone.
please, Mr. Ashok Paul? Mr. Ashok ji, will you please keep quiet for a while? We, the Kashmiris, have been saying right from the day one that Mr. Jagmohan, he created a fear psychosis among Kashmiri Hindus.
Really?
I am not saying that he was responsible.
Really?
Yes, there was militancy there. Kashmiri Muslims also died. But
my God.
I appreciate what Digvijaya Singh has said. At least he has confessed that he is not an ISI agent. He is not a spy. Yeah, now let you listen to me. It is not only that only few Hindus got killed. Let you not criminalize the issue. I know that 219 Hindus were killed during a span of 20 years. But what about Kashmiri Muslims?
Mr. Rashid Engineer, it was Yasin Malik who killed us. It was Shabir Shah who killed us. It was not Jagmohan who killed us. They killed the fear psychosis. They killed us. You are speaking lies.
On whose behalf is Digvijaya Singh saying these statements? I think you should check out if Digvijaya Singh is also talking on behalf of some enemy country. So for God's sake, what I want to say, it's a human problem. Yes, Kashmiri Pandits have
It won't
suffered,
go ahead with
but
a human
so have
problem issue.
Kashmiri Muslims.
I'll take a-
If
I'll take a-
19 Kashmiri Pandits
not
have
a
been
human problem.
killed during the movement.
I'll take a 2-minute break. No, 1 second.
70,000
1 second.
Kashmiri Muslims.
1 second. I'll
who
take
have
a
lost
2-minute
their
break.
lives, and you refer
I'll take a
about-
2-minute break. And I let the Congress party consider its position on the Newshour tonight. No, Mr. Kant. Mr. Kant, you have been defensive of the jihadi terrorists and blamed the Indian state for the Kashmiri Pandit exodus.
I blame them. That is your misrepresentation of what I have said. I have blamed the jihadists and I have blamed Pakistan.
Nalin
Do
Kohli,
not misrepresent me, Mr.
Nalin
Goswami.
Kohli, Anupam
Please
Kher,
play
1
the
second.
archives back.
In 2 minutes, In 2 minutes, we'll come back and we'll ask the Congress party one more time whether they would apologize for what Digvijaya Singh has said. Because on a day, it's 25 years since the Kashmiri Pandits were forced to flee the valley.
The Congress party, I am interested about India and our stand as a nation. That's all. It doesn't matter.
That is correct. So are we. We are patriotic Indians. This is a party that fought for the freedom.
Will the Congress party apologize tonight? We'll know when I'm back in 2 minutes. Back in 2 minutes tonight.